Good day, everybody. Matthew from Captive Audience Comics here. We just got back an interesting book from CGC that we're going to unbox for you. Those of you that follow our Facebook channel, Captive Audience Comics on Facebook, or our Instagram channel, captive_audience_comics, will know that we worked on a Sports Illustrated #1 first print complete for a new customer of ours. This customer is primarily sports collecting, and it's nice to see more of this kind of stuff. And this book was complete. It had the original, inserts in it. There was a triple gatefold baseball card fold out. It had a subscription inserts, and obviously was a very thick book. So it was in good physical condition. The biggest issue was it had a couple hefty spine bends on it from being grabbed from the spine over the years, causing it to have a significant bend. So we had to get that straightened out for the customer, and just a little bit of general cleaning to make sure that it looked as good as it could. So if you're interested in seeing the before and after shots of that, go over to our channels and take a look at that. And I just came back from CGC. It came back at the grade that we expected it to be. So this book's from 1954. Okay, and so you guys can see there, we had a nice 9.4. And the reason that we were pretty sure it was going to be a 9.4 is where there was this, you won't be able to see it on camera, I don't think. Not without our overhead camera. But there, where the hefty crease was on the side, was like right at the staples, which you would expect there to be staple stress. And there's almost like this puffiness, and I don't know if my camera is gonna deep focus, but there's this puffiness in the paper and a little bit of white lines at the staples, because of obviously just the way it was. And there's a tiny bit of color in the black, as this cover is all black. Tiny bit of color where the staples are. A little bit of white marks on the side, but you take a look at the back. There's some scraping and scuffing right on the edge of the spine on the back, but you can see that's a beautiful cover. So this book just came back. We just want to make sure that the case is all in good shape, and it is, so that we can get the customer. Now I'm going to warn the customer that this book has I'm glad it didn't get damaged in shipping, but I'm going to show this to you guys. It's almost like the inner well isn't really strong enough. So if you take a look here at this gap here, I'm going to try to get it so that you guys can see what's going to happen here. So watch the spine of this book. See how it slid down? Look at this. There, you just saw it. That whole book is sliding side to side inside the case. Now it is in the magazine inner well, so I guess that's just the way that it goes. It doesn't appear to be very securely set in there, so who knows? We might have to contact CGC about that. But anyways, that's a pretty cool book. We wanted to share it with you guys. More and more of these sports magazines are becoming more popular for encapsulation. There's a much bigger market than just comic books for the encapsulation services. And I think, sports cards are being done for a while, but now sports collectibles, sports memorabilia is going to get more and more encapsulated. Plus, with signature verification becoming an option for non-witnessed signatures with CGC, I think that's going to be a huge untapped market for everybody. So Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that, and we'll be in touch with more stuff. Ciao. Okay, we're back. Sensational She-Hulk number 60 in a 9.8. Again, part of that that era of She-Hulk comics, which is actually very highly collectible. A lot of the She-Hulks in that run, the Sensational run, lots of people look to collect them. And we were lucky enough to get a nice high grade set of those, and then sent several off for grading, including this one, Sensational She-Hulk number 40. And I apologize for not having the overhead camera on. So let me fix that for you and quickly just show you this one again. That's the Sensational She-Hulk number 60 that we were just talking about. And the Sensational She-Hulk number 40 in a 9.8. Now, the interesting thing here is there is a color defect in the cover here, you can see, which is obviously a printing or manufacturing defect. So no effect on the overall grade. Okay, so now we're going to get into the first book that was a surprise, not the grade, but the result. So we have an X-Men number 9 in an 8.5 restored label, unfortunately. And the restoration is small amount of color touch on cover and top edge trimmed. The top edge trimmed obviously is the bigger issue of that. I have as far as the color touch stuff goes, it's my opinion that if they just say small amount of color touch on cover and they don't give you any indication where it is not color touch. We have had other books that have said that. We have found what they believe was the color touch, and it was just simply like a heavier spot of printer's ink, and we've sent those books back to get redone, and they've come back blue label. So if they don't tell you where the color touch is, they just say on cover, they don't even say front, back, anywhere, you may want to just send those back in, or you could even, I guess you could send them to CCS for restoration removal. Now the top edge trimmed, that's obviously not something that can be fixed. And we've even been measuring some books and have clients measure them, and because of the inconsistencies in the print sizes at the time, it's almost hard to tell if they have been trimmed because their sizing is so, they can have so much variety in sizing. Silver Surfer number 1 in an 8.5. This particular one, we did review the grader's notes on this. I'm not surprised it's 8.5. You'll see down here, it's got a fairly long color breaking crease in here. It has color breaking creases that are fairly long across there. It's got a few other color breaks on the spine. And it has some it's hard to see, you won't see it in the camera, some very slight discoloration on the back. So probably 8.5 is likely a fair grade for that book. Maybe on a good day you get away with a 9, but that color break line is pretty long. So that is likely a fair grade. Now, this is the other one where we got a surprise, and again, no information back on the grading. So, another 8.5, Silver Surfer number 4, restored. Restoration includes a small amount of cover touch on cover, with no indication where anywhere on this cover that color touch might be. Now, again, as far as the actual grade goes, I would say it's pretty accurate. You're going to see here creasing on the corner, color breaking creasing, a fairly long color breaking crease there. And then up here you're going to see cover wear, where I won't say significant, but decent amount of color has worn off of that. So I would say the grade is probably legitimate. Color touch, in my experience, there probably is no color touch. So we'll have to discuss with the customer what they want to do about that. This book obviously is worth having that corrected. So in a case like this where they won't tell you, you can do one of two things. You can send it back yourself, crack it, take a closer look, send it back. Or you send it to CCS for restoration removal. And hopefully they have some super hidden grader's notes, tells you where it is, and they just go in and they're going to chip it out and regrade it, and you just hope that it doesn't affect the grade of the book. So the customer will have to make a decision on that. Obviously, that book is, really needs to be blue label to maximize its value. So here's a nice book, Giant Size X-Men #1 in an 8.5. 8.5s were hot and heavy that day. Now, this is a book where we sent it in and we weren't sure how they were going to hit this this mark on the bottom. You can see this staining or whatever this is on the bottom, and I checked the grader's notes, and that is what they hit. There's also a little bit. This is not on the surface of the paper. This is in the paper. So they did hit that staining a little harder. Sometimes you don't know how they're going to hit that, which is too bad because, otherwise, as you guys can see, this is a pretty, even up here, this is a really nice looking copy other than that staining on the bottom. Now, hey, an 8.5 is nothing to sneeze at. That's still a really nice grade in a GSX. It's just too bad about that discoloration there at the bottom. Maybe on a nice day, maybe you get a 9 if you catch a grader in a good mood, but that's never a case. X-Men #49, first Polaris and Mesmero, Origin of Beast in an 8, and this one is an 8 because of foxing and staining in the paper along the spine. I'll show it to you guys here. There, you can see it here. So you can see this. It almost looks like a rust staining in the paper, but you'll see here that staining and discoloration comes all the way along through there. So I did check the notes on that. Plus, you're going to see on the back, same thing. You're going to see all this foxing, staining along this edge, and there's even some staining and foxing on top. So again, a case where the grade, in my opinion, is probably fair. Actually, an 8 is probably slightly generous grade on that book, given the amount of discoloration. X-Men #50, second appearance of Polaris, in an 8.5. So we've done quite a few of these books recently. Seeing a lot of these come through. These books are actually really nice to work on. I don't know, certain paper and certain batches is just really nice. And this one, I'm pretty sure that when we looked it up, it got hit with a staining, either foxing or staining or something. And I think they might have been a little harder on this one because there is some discoloration on the spine. You can see this yellowing, this foxing on the spine across here, but it's not as bad as the other one. And you can actually see how it's a little more discolored going up in there. And if you take a look on the side of the price box, you can see, there it goes. You can see that right on the edge, it's hard to see on camera, but there's some discoloration in there as well. So in my opinion, this one probably should have been a little bit higher, especially compared to the other one. Maybe this one probably should have been a 9, but based on their technical grades, I guess that's just where it came in. And a couple of cool just oddities here. So Space Western Comics #45. the last issue of the Space Western, and bizarrely enough, there's a Hitler appearance in this comic. Now it's 1953, so Nazis and Hitler did appear in many comics around that era, and there certainly is a pop culture collectability to those, where comics reflect sort of the politics of the era. And 1953, 2.5, only with like a piece missing out of the cover. That's not a bad deal. And then again, this one's from 1955, and this is just I'll pick a pretty cool cover. So you got Little Dot, number 11, 1955, with a lot of backup story. But even though this book is only a 3.5, because of, you can see there's a fair amount of creasing in here, but overall the colors in here and the character and the yellow and the reds were just so bright that we thought that was a nice book to get graded, even out of 3.5. Just something cool to have. So there you go, guys. So that's what we have. If you had books in this, we'll be reaching out to you to let you know you have books ready for pickup. If you are the owner of the books that came back with the restored information, and you see this before we email you, just check your email. We're going to give you the information and just see what you would want to do with that one book that potentially could be sent back to CCS for restoration, removal, and the rest of it. Okay, so I hope everyone enjoyed this video and enjoys the rest of your weekend. Have a great day. Ciao.